All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Merely Bo, the Great Z.
Hello. Augusta, baby.
We're underway, buddy.
Let's go. Let's go. Right now, we have 3 teams in our Masters pool in contention, and then we have Gibbe.
It's really amazing.
I thought you had a great team.
So did I.
Yeah, it was really a lovely team.
Stupid Spaniard.
It's the Spaniard's fault. Well, what's your boy? Where's your boy DeChambeau? What's he up to?
Swimming with the fishes.
I had a debacle. Something debaucherous happened to Akshay with a double.
You're still at 5, aren't you?
No, I'm at 3.
Oh.
Akshay with a double, dog.
So good. I'm at 3. You're at 3, and young Gabriel. Young Gabriel.
What am I at now? Plus
Life
9?
comes at you fast.
You're plus
kids.
9, dude.
There we go.
That's insane.
No, I'm plus 2.
With the
now.
field
What?
that I had, with the group of golfers
way.
I had,
Yeah.
to be at plus 9, come on, that's pretty surprising.
No, I should be. No, I'm plus 2. Yeah, because Ben Griffin is plus 1. Akshay is now plus 2 after the double. Ludwig minus 3. Xander minus 1. Spieth minus 1.
So you're minus 2.
Yeah, but not minus 3.
Well, you said plus 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
come on. Hey. So I'm in. That puts me in second then. How about
Well,
it?
now you're at minus 2, it says.
I'm minus 3, according to my my
What is
team
going
on
on
my
here?
roster.
Like,
I think it's a slow update.
It's a slower update than
It's a slower update. Your team page is the most up to date.
Oh, okay. And you're plus
I'm 3
you're
under.
3 under.
I got Scheffler at 3, Atrix at 3, Hideki even, Bridgman 1 over, and then Colin Morikawa. Colin
Morikawa. So G-Man must have
Come
roars.
on, Colin.
Roars, right? Does he have roars?
Yeah, young Gabriel.
At 5 under.
Let's see.
You know, I saw Nance.
Let's click on this-
I saw
let's click
something
on
with
this team.
Nance yesterday about Rory, and he said something that I'd never thought of because, of course, he's Jim Nance, and of course he would. What he said is, we've never seen Rory play this course without the burden of having to win it.
Yep. Yeah, now he has
he
a chance
doesn't.
to be one of 3. Him, Jack Tiger,
Right.
back-to-back and Grand Slam champions.
But if he can get in his head that it's house money, look out.
Well, I was just talking to young Gabriel about this. I said, he's done everything that you can do from a golf standpoint.
Yeah.
So what if he's like, all I'm going to do is train every year to win a green jacket. I'm going to see how many green jackets I
Win
can
6.
accumulate.
Like, just specially trained to
Like,
win that.
I'm just going to go after the majors, but I'm going to go see how many green jackets, how close I can get to Tiger and Jack.
Yeah, 5 from Jack. You could do it. Yeah, so he's in the mix. So he's got 3 holes to play, and he's 5 under.
And in the lead.
And then Mr. Burns is leading at 5 under as well. So that's where we stand on that. It's awesome. The opening tee shots, come on, man. Jack about took someone's head off.
Oh, that was a little bit low and left.
Golden Bear.
Happens.
86 years old.
He hasn't
Gary's
been
90.
left like that in quite some time.
No. In a great many ways, he is not. No. Normally, he just puts it right. It's
a normal pipe.
Straight right down right down. Pulled it left a little bit. Gary Player had a good one. Tommy Watson looks like he could still shoot about 66 around this place.
His drive,
he swings.
the noise
Yeah,
it made. I was like, oh, okay.
If only Watson had won that British Turnberry.
That was one of the most disappointing, heartbreaking finishes because he had it.
And he hit the perfect iron, but he was so amped up
Yep.
that it carried a little too long, and then he failed to get up and down.
That would have been so cool.
Who was it? Was it Stuart
Sink?
Yeah, man.
Of all people.
all
So you
people.
could have had like the history of it, and instead you got a little bit of anonymity with Stuart Sink.
More
on
like
that.
Stuart Stink. Ha, ha, ha.
And Tommy's won the Open the most. Isn't he won it like 3 or 4 times, Watson? The Open?
Is he won the most?
I don't know that he's won the most, but he's won that of his majors. He's won the Open more than any of his majors by far.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's because it's golf. They don't pronounce the L.
No L there, yeah.
Let's see. Tom Watson. Born in 1949, Thomas Sturgis Watson,
Good middle.
Kansas City, Missouri. Just 5'9", 175 pounds. He is on his 4th wife.
It's an interesting stat you lead with there.
Linda Rubin from 1972 to 1997. Then Hillary Watson, 99, and unfortunately passed in 2019, so he's widowed. Then Leslie Ann Wade, 22, and then ended in 22. And then Dorothy Cohen married in 2024. 5 kids from Stanford, obviously. Zago beat him on a par 3 once and said, that's when I beat the champ. He won 5 Open championships.
Wow.
8 majors total. No Grand Slam because he never won the PGA. He won the Masters twice, the U.S. Open in 82. And he won the Open in 75, 77, 80, 82, and 83.
So he might have the record for most Opens.
Let's see.
5 Opens. Would you have Gary Player with 9-time major champion?
Yes,
Gary Player?
Gary Player was.
9 times. Masters
I wouldn't have
3.
said 9, but I knew he'd be like high on the list.
Masters 3, Open 3, 2 PGAs, and a U.S. Open. So he does have the Grand Slam.
Harry Vardon,
Oh, okay.
going back to the 1800s, has 6.
Okay, so he's
1896, 1898, 1899, 1903, 1911, 1914. Now, in that midst of that run, James Braid won in 01, 05, 06, 08, and 10.
Could have used him on my team
In the 1900s.
You really could have used him. Can you imagine those tournaments? Like, how many people are competing? Like, you walk out there with 2 sticks.
I don't know,
You're chasing
man.
a rock.
How about this?
There's 13 people in the field. It's old Tom's in the field again.
Peter Thompson
Sure. Yeah.
from the 1950s
Yep.
won 54, 55, 56, 58, and 65. So he won, at one point, 3 in a row and 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Peter Thompson.
Got nothing
And then
on that.
Watson in the 70s won 75, 77. So
Watson's good then. Modern era. He's the guy.
modern era, clearly.
For
Peter
sure.
Thompson, that's a pretty impressive run for him. Others,
Yeah.
Tom Morris Sr., Tom Morris Jr., Willie Park Sr., Walter Hagen, and Bobby Locke all have 4 wins. Jack Nicklaus, 7 times runner-up.
Wow. Does he have 3 or 4 wins? The Golden Bear.
That's a good question. Let's see if I can get a picture of the Golden Bear. 3-time, 66, 70, and 78. So who was around this time when Peter Thompson is dominating in the 50s?
I mean, that's like Ben Hogan.
Who else is there? So it's
Would have
won
been
by
like Ben Hogan, Gene Sarazen, right? Like,
So
isn't
Sam
that era?
Snead.
Sammy Snead, your boy?
Snead wins in 46, Fred Daly in 47, Henry Cotton 48, Bobby Locke in 49 and 50, Max Faulkner 51, Locke 52, Hogan 53. So this is like Hogan Gary Player era. And then
Yeah.
Thompson goes Thompson, Locke, Thompson, then Gary Player, Kelnagel, Palmer, Bob Charles, Tony Lima. Tony Lima.
Tony
I used to
Lima,
play
how
Tony
would it be
Lima
now?
Golf Course in San Leandro.
How about that?
And then Peter Thompson again, 65. Jack in 66 wins his first. Player again in 68. Jack in 70. Tony Jacklin, remember him?
Oh, yeah,
Roberto
love it,
Di
Tony
Vincenzo, the Argentinian. Lee Trevino, 71, 72. Weiskopf, Player, Watson, Miller, Watson, Nicholas, Seve, Watson. That's a pretty good run right there in the 70s. In the 70s, it's won by Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino, Tom Weiskopf, Gary Player, Tom Watson, Johnny Miller, Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, Seve Ballesteros. That's the 70s.
You're getting dudes.
Every one of those.
Everyone's
is
a dude. Everyone's a
Everyone's
dude
a
at
dude.
At that point.
You don't get any kind of like outliers, like 81 Bill Rogers,
Well, there's some of the ones in the 2000s have a lot of that. There's a lot of outliers in there.
Ian Baker Finch in 91.
Yeah, there's some of that. This place looks great. I was listening to Steve Sands
perfect
talking
weather,
about
too.
a little bit on the Golf Channel about the weather and how this is the best forecast he's ever seen
Yep.
for Augusta. Like,
Just
there's no
perfect.
hint of anything. Now, it will make the greens are going to be lightning.
By Sunday.
I think even the fairways. I think that's
Yeah,
what got DeChambeau in trouble.
Yeah, he was
Is-
blasting through.
Yeah,
Too
it's
long.
just going to roll.
Sorry, you're too long.
Yeah, he really was. What do you make about this conversation versus the ball and the drivers?
I heard that press conference with the 3 guys who teed off ceremoniously.
So I
this
didn't hear
morning.
anything.
They
What
were
did
all
they say? What did they
anti.
say?
They were like, the ball, like you've got to go back. You've got to change it. It's getting out of hand.
The ball or the club?
The ball.
The ball.
Here's the thing.
They
Like,
said keep it for amateurs, but for the pros, you've got to dial it back. You've got to.
How
rein
you're
it back
going to?
in.
I don't know. How
that's
you're
what
gonna
golf
govern
is.
that.
Golf, because you get to play what the pros play and hit the shots the pros hit, and that's why golf's so great.
The best example I could give to you of like another sport that would have a similar set of different rules would be baseball with the metal bats.
Yeah.
Like they make them use wood bats. So is that what that's basically what they're trying to do with golf and the reason for it is, and I heard Fred Ridley talking about this. The reason for it is that he's like, we're going to be fine at Augusta. We'll be fine. we can make this course longer if we need to, but there's a lot of courses that you can't.
Right.
You can't make them any longer, like Marion, like a lot of these historic courses, like they are in a footprint that can't get longer to accommodate
Yeah, but
this.
then you can just make crazy rough. Like there are other defenses to golf than length.
Yeah.
Some of the hardest holes in golf are short par fours.
Yeah. No, that's true. But anyway, that was a major talking point.
I mean, Bryson hits 187 on ball speed. Okay, carried it 298 right there, and he hit it farther than he wanted to.
And now he's in the
pit, as
In the pit,
Miss
yeah.
K would say. He's in the pit.
That's funny. That's what she calls sand traps,
Yeah.
the pit.
She's like, it's in the pit.
It's in the pit.
I don't know.
Makes me
Like,
funny.
I don't know. The thing about it is they promise you, like with each ball, more ball speed, each ball, every club, 10 yards longer every year
Yeah.
of the driver. Like, think about it. How many of you guys have been playing golf for a decade? Are you hitting the ball 100 yards farther than you used to?
good.
Boy,
No.
I wish I could with my new irons.
No.
That's not happening.
No. I mean,
Hardly any difference.
Yeah.
If any. Yeah. Yeah. They were pretty adamant about it. The other thing that's pretty interesting this week, they had a conversation that I was watching last night. You know, Golf Channel has a thing at the Masters, I think is what it's called. And it's just like Rich Lerner and Brandel, and there was a writer for Golf Digest, and then the Englishman who's always with them there. And they were having a conversation about, you know, Liv and all of that. And it's kind of like now known, like Liv lost. They lost.
Yep.
And now it's just a matter of how long. And they were talking about Bryson, and they said, you know, Bryson wants, you know, he's kind of trying to play both sides of this right now, and he really would love $500 million from Liv to stay on Liv.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it would take. And the reality was that from Bryson's perspective, he really doesn't need the PGA Tour, because from his perspective, he can compete in majors, and his popularity is incredibly high among young kids. Like my boys love him because of the YouTube stuff that he does. So
Yep.
they love him. So he flipped entirely the perception of him via YouTube. And it doesn't really matter to him about playing on the PGA Tour, because he can still play all the majors because he wins them enough that he gets the exceptions.
Yep.
So that was he's kind of the last one that they're waiting for, though, on the Liv thing.
Yeah, they thought he was going to take the deal when they offered the kind of that return deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember, like, it was Team Brooks or Team DeChambeau, and, like, no one was on DeChambeau's side.
Nobody
It
was.
was Brooksy all the way.
Yeah, and he basically flipped it by YouTube. That's it. I mean, that's how you get to a U.S. Open where people are chanting USA, USA about him, and they're putting him against Rory, and Rory became the bad guy. And a lot of that had to do was Rory was the biggest fish out there who stayed PGA, and a lot of people felt like if he had gone Live, that would have been the straw that broke the camel's back, because Tiger couldn't fight. Tiger couldn't play. Tiger wasn't playing. So Rory was kind of by himself fighting this PGA versus Live fight every single press conference at every tournament. A lot of people say, well, he had Scotty. Scotty wasn't Scotty when this all started. Scotty didn't win for the first time on the PGA Tours 22.
Yeah.
Like he's a new
Yeah.
Like he wasn't there on the ground floor. Like it was Justin Thomas, it was Spieth, and it was Rory were the top end of it. But like Rahm left, Koepka left, DeChambeau, like all these guys left, and they were the ones having to fight. But it was really Rory because he was the only one who maintained his greatness of play while this was going on.
Right.
Yeah, like Thomas fell off, Spieth fell off. Like there wasn't anybody else who could
and
go
Tiger
toe to
couldn't do
toe,
it.
and Tiger couldn't.
That group, like, that's almost a 30 for 30. Like, Spieth, Justin Thomas, like, that group, Ricky Fowler,
Yeah.
like, all of that, like, that friend group just fell off.
I mean, it's utter just kind of theory connecting dots, but like when you win like they did young and you get lifestyle changes financially, in case of I think all of them took on wives. I think all of them are married now. All of them have young children now. Like how diabolical can you be with that? You know, do you still have, if you're living that lifestyle, do you still have, once you've made it, do you still grind? I mean, that's what sets the people apart. That's what, if Rory has that in him to grind and continue to get better and better and better, he's got a chance to get to 10 majors, you know, over the next decade. If he, or around there, 8, 9, he could put himself into that Gary Player world. You know, 7, 8, 9 majors. Was he got 5?
Yeah.
He's got 5, so he could win 5 more over the next decade. Now that he's got this, you know, this monkey off his back with winning at Augusta. But when you've accomplished everything, like You got to be pretty diabolical to be like the Jordan. I mean, Tom Brady, like that type, like what Tom, like his wife's like, please quit. Actually, I'll just get a divorce. I'm going to keep playing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like that, Jordan, Tiger, and a lot of those instances, and Jordan lived in a different world, so like his personal life wasn't followed the way that it is with Tiger. But my guess is if he lived in this world, his personal life would have been covered very differently.
Oh.
And same thing with Tiger, like and Tom, like off the field, kind of a mess
Yep.
because you have to have a singular focus to maintain that level.
Yep. And I think that, some of these guys, right, you make it and all, they're just flying private jets, playing fun golf courses, doing fun things like
Playing in flip-flops, barefoot, like
why
in
do
the Bahamas. Like,
it's hard to, it's hard.
can you really grind? Like,
Hard to grind, right.
if you want to chase down that level of greatness. So, yeah. I loved it. Loved it this morning. It's been a fun watch, as you could probably tell.
It's the best.
It really is. We are 2 weeks from tonight, the 2026 NFL Draft. As currently stands, we pick at 6 and 24. Weapons, 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 or so we say. So one of those picks is a receiver. This is a question from the fellas for you and I. You can't go wide receiver with the other pick. What position do you want the Browns to address most? And you can't go wide receiver. So we pick a receiver at 6. Let's say we get Tate at 6.
Fantastic.
Then what do you get at 24?
Don't care. Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you
I'm
want.
happy now.
What
You
if
have to answer the question.
Sorry. Okay. I would like to take probably a tackle.
tackle at 24?
Or an offensive lineman that they think is really, 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 really good. I don't really care what position he plays at 24, but yeah, an offensive lineman that they think is really, really good.
I kind of feel I'm with you, obviously, well known on receiver at 6.
Yep.
Honestly, like where we are, obviously we need offensive line play. But in terms of where we are from a roster build standpoint, I wouldn't even mind like just whoever's highest on your board. Who are you surest about?
Well,
but obviously we need offensive line the most, so that would be the one that I'm assuming would make the most sense. But man, like sometimes you just need just let's just take the guys we're most convinced are
if
sure.
like Sadiq is there at 24, and then we get another
There you
pass
go.
catching weapon, but it's a tight end, and now you got Fannin and Sadiq. You've got Tate and Judy. You got Isaiah Bond. You got Quinshawn and Sampson. Like, that's a pretty good young nucleus.
That sure is. Yeah. Now you're humming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this draft needs to be for us. We need to have at 6 and 24. 6 has to be a cornerstone. Like, dude.
And to me, it has to be somebody who can score the basketball.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Or in this case,
you don't score until you
the
score.
football.
Ostriker?
Till you score.
You don't.
No, you don't. Not even a little bit.
Don't. NBC has not seen that one yet.
That's out. That's wild. I think you should.
He's 14, so I don't know. You know. We're getting there.
Yeah,
Once you
16
get
maybe.
into high school,
Yeah.
then I think that's a possibility.
Does that get as much attention? If you had to pick between that and Superbad, what do you got? American Pie or Superbad?
Well, I think you gotta go
American Pie. For me,
You
that's
guys
not
don't-
even
yeah.
close. And I love Superbad. I have great
Yeah.
affection for Superbad, but Superbad was like American Pie was much more my era.
Our era, yeah.
And even though Kevin is terrible, he's awful. He's terrible. Everything about him's bad. But it's kind of like he's as bad as Doug is in Hangover.
Hangover, yeah. Just doesn't. None of it makes sense.
No, which is why in the second
I
one
think
they
he
had
makes-
Doug just get.
I think it makes less sense even than Doug. At least the Doug guy, I could see him dating the girl he's going to marry. I see no scenario where that Kevin.
What?
Yeah, I buy that.
You buy it?
Yeah, he's a little charming. He's a good-looking guy. Seems like he's got his things going. What's Kevin got going for him that he's with Vicky? Come on.
Nothing. He's whiny
Nothing.
and
Whiny.
lame.
Totally lame.
More high maintenance than her.
Way more.
It
wasn't-
Like, quite honestly, Ostriker should be dating her or Stiff. The Stiffmeister.
Stiffmeister can't be tied down. Ostriker.
That didn't buy
Dr.
either.
J, have you ever seen American Pie?
Now that we
Okay.
start to tear it
All right.
apart, like the idea that he would leave the lacrosse championship to go sing a cappella. Come on.
outrageous.
Come on, man. We're playing for a title.
Playing for a
Ostriker.
title. Yeah.
Come on. We're
No,
not doing
no
that.
chance. And not especially
Plus,
for
wasn't he playing lacrosse at Michigan or something? Wasn't that the story?
he was gonna be, yeah.
Somewhere? Michigan State?
And
or
especially
something?
not like
Come on.
that girl's from what, American Beauty?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm with you. I'm with you, buddy. Which pick do you think the Browns move out of in 2 weeks? Either, neither, or both? If we're going to move out.
If we're gonna move, I think we're moving out of 6, but I don't think we will.
I don't think we will either. I think the two scenarios where it would be in play would be if Arvell Reese somehow drops to 6. He would be my number one pick of like a pass rusher drops to 6 and somebody comes up to get him, and then the other one I thought maybe was Jeremiah Love. Would somebody want to come up? But I can't decide who would want to come up to get Love. I could see people, like, for example, the Cowboys might want to come to 6 if Reese falls. I could see that. So at Augusta, Mr. Burns is leading at 5 under. Rory is 5 under. Then a host of golfers at 3, including Jason Day, Patrick Reed, Ludwig Oberg, and Scotty Scheffler, all at 6.
DeChambeau's going to bogey 18.
What's he at, +7?
+3. Out of the sand, he goes left. And he's not even on the green yet.
Yeah, you might just miss the cut, and then we won't see him again until the PGA.
That would be very sad for.
Oh, I know what I was going to run by you guys. The
Please.
the PGA Tour. This is another thing that they were talking about. The PGA Tour is trying to make the Players the 5th major. They're trying to make it the 5th major. They've tried this before. They've tried it a bunch of times, and one of the things that they had talked about was the reason for that is they want to be able to put. To sell their money, their television package as part of the majors, because the PGA Tour doesn't control any of the majors.
Okay.
As you know.
Okay.
They're not. It's PGA of America, USGA, the Masters, and the R&A. So they don't have any. They don't get any scratch from that. So one of the things they were trying to do is, in order to make all of this work financially, so that these purses are big and all of this, was be able to charge a premium for the players. And they said. And Chambly actually thought I made a decent point. He said probably versus the marketing campaign and all that, what probably might work is if you went to the other 4 majors and said, hey, will you accept us as the 5th major? And if like Augusta National, like Chairman Ridley was like, yeah, the Players is the 5th major, then that would get it done. But I think that's a stretch.
No.
Too. Yeah.
You can't have that because it's about major. And then what? Anybody who's ever won the Players is now those are all majors.
Those are all majors.
They can't be from now on.
No,
you can't do it.
I agree.
You can't do it. And then major numbers don't matter anymore.
And quite honestly, if they did try to make it, I don't think it should be that tournament.
There are 4 majors. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm with you.
What golf tournament would you make a 5th major if you could?
0, none. There are 4
none,
majors.
But if I did, I would want it to be. I would want one back in August. I miss it in August. I wish the PGA was back in August.
So what? Like Muirfield would be befitting of a major.
Yeah, from a golf course. I mean, that would be an ode to Jack, a nod to Jack, like home of Nicholas, all that. I think that course is much superior to Sawgrass. You've played both.
Yeah, not even and much harder.
Yeah.
Much harder.
And you never get to really even. I would love it. It'll never happen. I would love to see what they would do at Muirfield if it was a U.S. Open course
if you want Sawgrass to have a major, then one year you need to not have the Players Championship somewhere else and have either the U.S. Open or the PGA at Sawgrass.
No, they don't want it to be a major. They want it to be a permanent major.
Yeah, no, it's not good. No,
I'm with you.
No way. It just ruins everything. You're like, major counts.
Yeah.
So
well, it's how I feel when we went to 17 games in the NFL. Now everyone can throw for 6,000 yards. It's like, well, hold on a second. That stuff used to matter, like rushing stats going nuts. Like it used to be a big deal to run for 1,000 yards. I like the uniformity of 162 games in baseball, 82, 82, 16. I know why you do it, but it starts to wreck things. Same thing happening in college football. Like Zeke Elliott broke Eddie George's single season rushing record at Ohio State.
Yep.
Zeke Elliott got 3 more games than Eddie.
Yep.
That's not right.
No.
No,
of course. But those you can at least break down on a per game basis.
You can, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can say that he averaged X number of yards per game rushing this season.
Yeah.
This is, it's so ridiculous to think that you could do that here is ludicrous to me.
Yeah.
Ludicrous. And you've got Rory's won a couple, Scheffler's won a couple. Tiger's won a couple. Davis Love's won a couple. Hal Sutton, Steve Elkington's won 2. So Steve Elkington now has a bunch of majors.
A 2-time major winner.
Come on. Jack's won 3. I just don't think you can do it. Jody Mudd in 1990 won it. He's a major. Jody Mudd's now our major champion. Come on, man. Craig Perks.
So Jack would still have the record then because he'd have 3. Tiger'd have 2. So
Who's Craig Perks?
You tell me, brother.
I don't know. He won the
major winner.
He won the Players in 2002.
Hey, guys, it's a mailbag day on the program. Get your questions into us at Browns_Daily. We will also take those live in the YouTube chat. Or now you can email your questions to brownsradio@clevelandbrowns.com. brownsradio@clevelandbrowns.com. We'll answer your questions about the draft, about the Masters, about anything else you want. We will do that coming up in the second hour of the program. Coming up, before I do that, your Hot Topics today, that's what that just was. It was presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Z goes one-on-one with a guy that would solve a lot of issues if he can stay healthy, and God knows he wants it. The great Dwand Jones and Z, one-on-one coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly.
Cleveland Browns, Dwand Jones. Dwand, great to see you. Looking svelte, looking good. How the heck are you?
I'm doing good. Just been grinding all off season. Been here. Honestly, I just been in the facility every day, just taking care of my body and just trying to lose weight and just be better for next season.
So I was going to say, off season, where'd you go? I know where, because I've seen you walk out every day, you get picked up, and you go about your business. What has this been like? Because it just seems, my heart goes out for you. It just seems so unfair. 3 years in a row, a season-ending injury. It feels like you're rehabbing probably as much or more than you're playing the game that you love. How has it been, and mentally, to know that at least you're through it now? What's this been like?
It's unfortunate, but sometimes I just chalk it up to the part of the game. It happens, and you just gotta move on and put your head down. Don't get in a deep hole, because once you do that, you can't really go back. And I just try to take it one day at a time. That's the only thing I can really do, and that's kind of what my mom tells me and my family tells me. I kind of told them I let them down, and I really was hurt, and they was just like, you didn't let us down, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate,
No.
But
it was ridiculous. I remember watching it. You have got to be kidding me.
I just want to play, man, and that's everybody knows I compete, and I just want to play as much as possible.
And you've been excellent whenever you have played, and that's why we got to get you healthy and get you out there. You mentioned trying to get your body right. I know you've posted on Instagram, but what are you at right now?
I'm at 360, 359, so I'm in that range.
359.
Yeah. I gotta just keep it there.
What do you want to be?
I want to finish the summer at 350, 355, somewhere in that range. So hopefully.
That's very doable.
Yeah, so that's not far off, and I just want to shoot for that goal.
It's just you got to lose, if you're, let's go 359 right now. So to get 350, you got to lose 9 pounds. That's 3%.
It's hard to maintain it, though. You get there.
You can do this.
I know. You get there, and you be like, but, it's a big year this year. So I know I got a lot of expectations, and I just want to live up to it.
So you're coming off this injury. Change. New head coach, Todd Monken. What's your interaction with him been like? And he's a guy, and we're going to play a clip from Seth Rollins today, or maybe we already have. I don't know if we played it already, because we're kind of in this weird time continuum right now. But where he hears Todd Monken, and he's like, you know what? I'm in on the Browns, because he's no nonsense. For you getting to sit down and talk with Todd, what's that been like? And knowing that he's been a guy who's had big offensive linemen on his offensive lines in the past.
It's been great. He pulled me to the side. I was walking past him going to our first team meeting, and or offensive meeting. He just was like, I appreciate you, just being here all off season. I've seen your work and what you've done. That doesn't go unnoticed, and just keep working and just keep building muscle and body mass. And that's really I appreciate that, knowing my work is being seen, and I don't do it for no praise, but just knowing that my coach seeing me in here every day and just working.
People talk sometimes about, a young quarterback, right? And they're like, oh, man, this guy's had 4 different offensive coordinators in his first 4 years. Well, you are now going to have 4 different offensive line coaches in your first 4 years. You started with an absolute legend in Bill Callahan. Well, now you got another absolute legend in George Warhop. What's kind of that interaction been? And knowing that you got guys like Titus Howard who's come in, who's played for him, Joe Thomas played for him, and they all kind of say the same thing, that this guy's going to get the best out of you, especially young players who are talented. And that's you, young player, very talented.
Me and Coach Warhol, we've talked a lot. He's came in and stopped in during my list, and even just from the past couple of days, and we've got along, and it's really good to pick his brain and just see where he's at. And he's just a older guy, but he shocked me a lot with what he was talking about, and just
he shocked you.
What
do you mean?
Just different variations of what him and other coaches do, and just what going back to Bill, just seeing what Bill does. A little bit different, and it's just dope just to see a different perspective of it.
You have had also not only the 4 different offensive line coaches, but then assistant offensive line coaches, and you started with one of the most jacked offensive line coaches in the history of the league, in Scott Peters, and now you've got another absolute unit as an assistant offensive line coach.
Bobby Johnson, he's been good. He actually was there at my pro day, and so just seeing him with full circle was pretty crazy. And I think I want to say one of my coaches was his teammate, or no, he coached one of my coaches, Coach Fry.
Okay.
And then one of my coaches, I want to say it was his teammate or something like that. So just having that, having the connections and stuff like that is just dope.
Have they talked to you at all about their expectations for you or the goals? It's pretty easy to look at our offensive line right now and say, okay, left tackle still feels like, let's go, Dwand.
I haven't heard nothing from that aspect, but my main thing is just to keep my head down. But I have no control over that. But for the most part, I just know that I get to go play football soon.
Yeah, which you're excited, big smile on your face. You're excited about right there. For you, we saw the video of you playing hoops. How does that come about? And is that something you have to say, hey, I'd like to go play some hoops? How does that come about for you?
No, and a lot of people just be like, you should let your body recover, and I do for the most part. I go home and I recover and just chill, and I have downtime, and I need to get my legs going, and it's just
to help keep you in shape. By the way,
that's the main thing, is just keeping me in shape, and Honestly, just cardio. I mean, I may not go down all the time on
Yeah.
defense or offense, but I'm getting up and down, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm not out there trying to get a contract or nothing. So, like, people would be like, "You're gonna get hurt." I'm like, I'm fine. I've done this for a while. Like, just let me do me and you do you.
Yeah. I like, though, you get the putback and then you give them a little bit like, yeah.
They were all.
Are those like your buddies from home?
One of them was like one of the guards. That was like one of my best friends.
Okay.
And then a couple guys are from Cleveland that
Yeah.
he's made connections with, and that was just the team he selected, and we're going to run it back this week. So hopefully,
fun. Yeah.
hopefully it's a clip this week or something like that.
Yeah.
We play early at 3.
Okay, and I like after the score, get a little bow up on somebody. What's your favorite? You get the ball on the block. Is that where you want to get the ball?
I wanna get
And then what's your go-to?
I want to go right hook. I want to get to that right hook, and I want
Like a jump hook or a sky
I
hook?
want to get to a jump hook. I want to get to a jump hook, and if I can't get to that, I want to dunk on you. I want to turn my shoulders at the basket and put the ball in the rim.
Do you know the name Kevin Willis?
Yes, I know who Kevin Willis
Okay.
is. Yeah,
All right, yeah,
played for the
well,
Raptors. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and a jump hook aficionado he was. A very ripped guy as well.
I'm more so on the Shaq side. Yeah, I
Okay.
got long arms. And
Yeah.
we were watching NBA the other day, and we were just hearing everybody's wingspan. And they went down, and it was like KD, 6'11", 7'5" wingspan. I was like, dang.
Donovan Mitchell has a 6'10" wingspan.
But those guys 7'5" wingspan. Me. So I was like, that's pretty crazy. That my
Yeah.
it's
6'7".
Yeah, I'm 6'8".
6'8". Sorry, don't want to shortchange you.
No. So just just my arms being that long and just comparing it to the NBA players, it's like it's crazy. They go out there and do their profession just like us.
Well, that's one of the things. Like when Joe Thomas talked to, he's like, "You got this. Don't even get near you. Go out there and get them." How excited are you? Mentioned, and we were talking obviously hoops, but you're excited to get back to football. What is it that you miss the most about football?
I mean, practice, of course. You don't want to skip that. It starts right there. Just going back to my grind, going against the guys. That's what gets you ready for Sundays, and then obviously Sundays. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Just the drive down, seeing all the fans in the parking lot in Muni. It's just unreal. Some people probably don't really get to see that, and just those fans been out there for years, and I cherish that. Just going down there on Sundays.
What do you think about the fact that there's a good chance that 4 of the top 10 picks in the NFL draft this year are going to be Buckeyes? And there's a good chance that maybe a Buckeye's going to make his way here to the Cleveland Browns at number 6.
I have no issue with that. I'm going to say OH every time, and hopefully they say, all right, O back, and, we're going to keep it rocking. They're going to be on the team with us, but, I have no selection.
Of course.
But it would be nice, just to hopefully play either one of my former teammates or just, one of the young guys that I seen come in.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable factory, and it's kind of like, hey, guys, maybe we should have – if we're going to have all these top – and if Jeremiah was in the draft, if Julian Say was in the draft, maybe they have 6 of the top 10. We got to get that national championship back here going
we got to
on.
get that back. It's all right, though.
So I was talking about this with Bo. There are some people in Columbus who are just happy this year because they beat Michigan. The year before, don't beat Michigan, but win the national championship. Winning national championship is still better, yeah? So you have to think about it. It's not an automatic.
I'm big on being 2-0 just because I didn't beat them. I mean, I beat them my freshman year, but I didn't really play. So, I'm big on beating. You work your whole 365 for that to beat them, you know what I mean? When we don't go out there and perform, it just looks bad. And so I was kind of happy. I also was sad, though, that we lost to IU and being from Indiana. Seeing all the fake IU fans come out the woodworks and stuff like that, it really took me for a dive.
How about this, though? Think about if you were to tell – when were you first a fan of football and aware of college football?
I probably didn't know college football until probably middle school maybe. I was really I'm big on basketball just because.
Yeah, I know you are,
I
of
come from a basketball state, but
of course.
I ended up realizing that in middle school, that was a big thing.
Okay, so if you were to tell middle school Dwand Jones that Indiana won the national championship in football, would you be like, no way? Impossible.
I mean, I'm from Indiana, and they won a national championship before they won a basketball championship. The last time they won one was 85.
Yeah,
and that's it was Isaiah Thomas. So that's crazy. So I don't know.
Like it's impossible.
No, I wouldn't believe it.
You went to Ohio State. The fact that the Indiana teams that you played, by the time that you've been in the NFL for now going 3 years, they're going to win a national championship.
I didn't see it by long.
Beat the Buckeyes twice.
Beat them twice.
Beat Miami. Like Indy with no 5 stars, 0, not a single one. Like it's one of the most improbable college stories, sports stories, period.
Ever. You know, they could probably never win again, but they won a national championship. It's marked on there that the Indiana Hoosiers won a national championship.
And beat
some people on the way there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. So
It's
basketball state, obviously, we get to go to Indy for our the combine every year, which is always fun. And on the way out, we sometimes Bo I know has stopped and got some shots up there at the Hoosiers. Jim, is that something that you ever did?
I got invited before to the Terhune versus Hickory game in the high school, so I actually played on that court before.
Wow, what was that like?
It's by far one of the best experiences I had. It's small in there.
Yeah.
But it gives you just like the movie though. Like it just reminds you of everything. The locker room was the real like
locker room.
Shocker, I'm tall, I'm 6'8". I played with, I want to say, Trace Jackson Davis was on the other team. And so he was on the other team, and we were both 6'9", just ducking our heads. There's a couple NBA guys on our team, and so, it was just crazy just to be there and then have that memory for forever. And I could tell my kids I played in the Hickory gym. I ride past all the time and just be like, Milan, like that's history right there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That had to be almost – I'm a big golfer, right? So for me, I got to play St. Andrews once, which is where golf was invented, and I feel like it was kind of like magical, spiritual a little bit. I imagine that had to be what it was like to play in that gym.
It's very similar. Like for me, I would want to go to Springfield, like you said. I would want to see what Springfield is like, and playing at the old basketball where it has a what is it? Just the
peach basket.
Yeah. I would want to see that. That's dope.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually going to your neck of the woods in a little bit, the state of Indiana, French Lick, where obviously the birthplace Larry Bird played a little golf, chased the small ball.
That's a real nice course. I've never been there, but
yeah, I've heard it's awesome. Mm-hmm. Are you swinging the 6 at all?
No, I'm terrible.
Terrible. Do you get in the sim at all?
I am bad.
No,
I do have a sim, and it's not that. It's racing. I'd be on the racing.
So you have one of the full on
I don't.
setups? No.
One of my buddies does. He stays with me. He got the full setup, and I got just like the normal, just wheeling.
Does he have the one that where it can pull
Nah, those are expensive. Deshaun has that one. Deshaun Washington got that one, but I just got the normal one. We try to keep it realistic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I try to clear my mind with doing stuff like that. I can't get into golfing. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not my strong suit.
My cousin is a huge racing fan, and I mean he's been to Indy a bunch of times. He loves IndyCar and he likes Formula One. Those are his Formula One's probably his favorite.
No.
No?
We gotta get him out of there. We gotta get him.
But he likes IndyCar.
Yeah, I love IndyCar.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
My favorite is NASCAR.
Okay, so he's not as much of a NASCAR
I think it's
guy.
It's more relatable to football and just what we do every day. I think that's the main thing. IndyCar is just so fast. That's almost basketball, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's the change of pace and, or I would say baseball maybe. Once somebody's leading, that's normally going to be the leader and that's who's going to win.
Yeah.
So I kind of treat it like that and just the way, I don't know, I try to keep it the game inside the game.
Formula One is cool, but it feels like if you have the best car, you're going to win.
Saying.
Yeah,
it goes
it's
back
all
to
about the
that.
car.
You're just gonna stay up front, and it's just gonna get boring. And who wants to just watch the same person lead the whole time?
The team, right?
When we watch NASCAR, it's a new leader coming out. It's pit strategies. I watched Martinsville, and I want to say Gustav. I forget his name, but Chase Elliott, his crew chief, he made him stay out, and they got tires on the next cycle. And that's basically what won the race because he got the bottom line. He got to pick the line on which he wanted to choose. And after that, I mean, then he was behind him and he kind of, tried to bump him and do whatever he could. But his tires weren't that good because he got outsmarted, That's just simple.
All right. So you're obviously a professional football player. So you're living a dream, clearly. But in an alternate universe, if you could be the best driver on NASCAR or a first-team All-NBA player, which would you pick?
Oh, that's tough.
Well, that wasn't supposed to be easy.
Oh, that's tough.
Or I'll throw another one in there because I also know that you love wrestling. You could be like John Cena.
If I could, it would probably be
actually The Rock. We'll say The Rock. He's the coolest.
No, you had it right with John Cena. No, you had it right. I'd probably do I don't know. That's tough. That is.
It was supposed to be hard.
I know. I'll probably go NBA though.
NBA,
Yeah,
okay.
Just
All
because they get their face shown every day. People are already rating and starting to drop for WWE, and it's sad. But hopefully it picks up soon.
You could have been you could have been at the peak of the business. Okay,
Not
all right.
me.
All right, NBA.
I don't.
like it.
I don't want to be another just big guy in WWE.
I like it.
NASCAR. It's not that many 6'8" guys that drive cars. I'd rather own it. I'd rather be the Michael Jordan of it.
And maybe someday you will be. Dwand, always a pleasure. Glad the rehab's going well. Glad you're digging the message from not only Todd Monken but George Warhop, and you look great. And we're excited to see the content keep coming, but also see you back on the field and making great plays for this team.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, Dwand Jones, absolutely love this kid. We'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, right after this.
Part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Become a season ticket member today. Join us at Huntington Bank Field for all the home games this year. Visit Browns.com/tickets now. As we go around the league, how about this on Good Morning Football? This is WWE superstar Seth Rollins, apparently a big fan of our new head coach, Todd Monken.
Dude, guys, I am on fire from that interview. That was so awesome. Oh, man, I'm sold. The Browns might be my second team this year. I don't know, guys. Okay. That was incredible. I mean, that was just, they're my AFC team. Let's go. I think I'm in, man. Between him and Myles Garrett, I'm sold. I don't even care who plays quarterback now. I mean, that's an interview. What a way to start the season. I was fired up in the break. I was telling the guys over here, I'm like, this season's going to be awesome. That just got me ready to go. I was going to write the Browns off, and now I'm in. But I'll tell you why. It's a legitimate reason. That is no-nonsense talk right there. That is no-nonsense talk. He was straight to the point. He wasn't trying to, sugarcoat anything. Yeah, he's excited. They're all ready to learn. All these young guys ready to learn. I'm going to teach them, is what he's saying, and get it right this time. And then he's saying, we just got to win. And that's the bottom line. We got to win. How do you fix, bad rep? You play better. You win ball games, you play better. And sometimes that simplicity, that trickles down. That is the essence of it. Because if you have a guy who's in that top position and he starts to overthink things, you see that, and that looks like weakness to people underneath who are following, who are trying to pick up what he's putting down. But if you got a guy who's strong, opinionated, makes decisions, and gets straight to it, I don't know about you guys in New York. I'm feeling this guy, man. I like that. I'm sold on Monken. I'm sold, baby.
This was just all organic?
Yeah,
he was just scheduled to be on, and it was coming out of a Todd.
Seth is on. Seth is the host of Good Morning Football, I think, every Thursday and Friday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know you
Luke
do. And I do.
Little L and you are all
Luke
over
and
it.
I do know that.
Oh, so he's on it.
So he's on I think it's Thursday and Friday.
Really? Do you know how that came about?
He's a huge Bears fan. I guess he loves football and was maybe wanting to get in the media and have something else to do other than wrestling.
I think he was like a fill-in.
And he did really well.
And they were like, well, hey, let's see if we can't find a spot here.
And he's got good energy.
Yeah, for sure.
He's really, really good.
As the big Seth Rollins fan that I am, and I follow everything that he does, he was a guest a couple times just as promoting WWE stuff. When he got hurt, they started bringing him in, and he had an idea, I think, of doing stuff like that, and they brought him in, and then it just became a regular thing.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And he's been like I said, he's fun. But yeah, so they showed a clip of Monken. They were talking about the Browns. Manti, who I do enjoy, I feel very badly for him after that. He says some of the wildest stuff, and I'm just sometimes he's like the Browns. He's like the Browns have had lots of talent, and the Browns. Everybody's saying, they haven't. The Browns have had lots of quarterbacks. He goes, they just haven't had a good coach who could lead them.
Yeah.
I mean, meanwhile, and I realize Stefanski has been but he won the Coach of the Year twice in the last 6 years.
Yep.
And then he's talking about. He just says something. I'm just like, quarterback's a big. Show me a good coach. Bill Belichick was regarded as the greatest coach in the league, and he lost Tom Brady, and all of a sudden he
can't coach.
He's fishing with mermaids and has lost his mind. He can't even win in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part of it. But so they show a clip, obviously, of Monken from yesterday, and what I liked about it, that's the reason I sent that to him right away, is I'm like, I love what he said, because that's what he said. He's like, that's straight, no nonsense talk. He kept saying it over, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly. Todd Monken is going to give you no nonsense, as he said. He's going to tell you straight, and I think our players are going to like that. I think it's going to be it's obviously different than what we had before, and maybe it's what we need at this moment. I think that there are different styles that certainly can work. We went to the playoffs twice. We won a playoff game with the conference fancy. You cannot overlook that. This is the best era of the modern Cleveland Browns. Our last 2 years not great. Our aspirations are even greater than that, but the first 4 years were definitely the best era of the modern Browns that we've had. And now, Todd Monken's here, and I think that that's exactly right. I think it's great. I really think it's. I've been a big fan of his. I think it's exactly what we need. I think that he is going to bring a great offensive mind, and I think we have a chance to be, good. If this offense can be top half of the league, we have a chance to compete for our division title. Bottom line, that's it, and that's the goal.
I think also, like, in regard to Kevin and that type of stuff, like, how many coaches, when you look at, like, coaches with long tenures, it's usually tethered to a quarterback.
Of course.
There's very few exceptions. I mean, Tomlin was mostly Roethlisberger. Harbaugh was Flacco into Lamar. So there's a couple, but I mean, it's mostly, in the case of Harbaugh, it's two guys, absolutely. In the case of
100%.
Tomlin, it's mostly Roethlisberger. It's rare, I think, the McVay-Shanahan, where you have different quarterbacks, that's the anomaly. Like, Andy Reid staying in Philadelphia as long as he did with Donovan McNabb, and then as long as he's been in Kansas City with Mahomes, like, you have to have that coach quarterback in order for you to have those long runs. Look at Breeze and Peyton. Like, it's rare that a coach wins consistently without consistent quarterback play at the highest level. It's it. That's why it's the most important thing. That's why when anybody talks about, you got to make sure you have assets for 2027, dude, I'm going to tell you, if Arch Manning is what people think he is, there's no amount of picks that's going to make anybody trade out of one.
Nope.
Nothing. You could do the old Ditka whole draft. Still not doing it.
Yep.
You're not moving out of one.
Yep. No.
There was no scenario that you could have got the Jacksonville Jaguars to trade out of Trevor Lawrence. There was no scenario where the Cincinnati Bengals were going to not trade. We're not going to pick Joe Burrow. You draft those guys, and then they're your guy. There's too much value in it.
Yep.
It's a before we get that, the NFL improved the Guardian Cap NXT 2.0 for use in games next season. Sleeker surface allows for advanced customization, team branding, decals that can be applied directly to the cap.
Do we have a picture of this?
I have one for you. I pulled it up. It's not.
Don't believe so.
I did have it up.
Scheffler for Eagle on 5 from about 90 feet, curling towards the hole. Going to come up about 3.5 feet short. He will make that to go into
it's
third
basically
place
the difference.
alone.
It's this. So it's still not great.
Better. The Georgia Tech one looks better.
It looks better, but it's still, pretty noticeable.
Ooh, Spieth 2 under through 9. I thought about
My guy.
Spieth. I know. You
My
got
guy.
Spieth. I
Got
thought
him.
about
Got him.
Spieth.
It's a mailbag day on the program. Get your questions in on the X platform at Browns_Daily or in the YouTube chat. We can take that live, or you can now email us your questions, brownsradio@clevelandbrowns.com. Second hour of the program coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And get ready, Browns fans, with 2 first-round picks of the 2026 NFL Draft. We're celebrating one of the most exciting nights of the year with the 2026 free Browns Draft Party in association with Canada Dry. And guess what? You're invited. Join us at Cleveland Public Auditorium, downtown Cleveland, to enjoy your player and alumni autographs, live DJ giveaways, all while you watch the NFL Draft. Get your tickets now. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/draft party 2026 for more information. A great friend of ours, one of the best in the business. When it comes to X's and O's, probably the best, Greg Kosell. He was on the Ross Tucker podcast, and he had some thoughts, among other things, on can wide receiver number ones be slot wide receivers, or do they have to be outside guys only? Here's Greg on that.
We had an interesting conversation a couple weeks ago that I am really into these days about number one receivers, what they look like, because I can't remember how many years recently, Greg, where we've talked about a guy and the comment has been, but is he just a slot? Can he play outside? And it's been Justin Jefferson. It's been Jackson Smith and Jigba. You know, maybe those guys that we're not sure about, maybe we should be looking harder at those guys.
Well, you know, I think what the conversation is really about is how the NFL pass game and offensive football has evolved. Because now we live in an era where there's a lot more pre-snap movement. There's a lot more formation variation with reduced splits, meaning wide receivers lining up closer to the formation. So while the concept of a number one receiver, if there's such a person like a Jamar Chase, and I do not believe there's a Jamar Chase type player in this draft, but that concept of having the number one, sure, every team would like that. And we've talked a lot about the boundary X, the single receiver to the short side of the field, which every team would like to have that one guy. But if you don't have that guy, then what we see in the league is a lot more of players that are good players getting high volume targets because of the way the pass game has evolved with the deployment of personnel. And I think there's a lot of receivers in this draft class that fit into that category. There'll be 3 or 4 or 5 receivers, I imagine, taken in the first round. And you know what? I'm sure a number of them will be high targeted, high volume players and will put up really good numbers. But then you have to look to see how they're deployed.
I just find it fascinating because I think everybody everybody wants the Randy Moss or T.O. or Mike Evans. And I get that. But it feels like with the way these teams are moving these guys around, is it fair to say, Greg, there's value in guys that have played in the slot a bunch in college and are familiar with those routes, familiar with navigating through traffic like that? Because it feels like the Cooper Kupps and the Smith and Jigbas and these guys are having a lot of success. Amon-Ra St. Brown, because of how well they navigate the clutter in the middle of the field as opposed to just more of the isolation routes on the perimeter.
Well, it's funny you say that because just have receivers now who work the middle of the field really effectively, and with all these condensed formations in the NFL, that becomes a big deal.
Yeah, it's a very interesting conversation about X slot and how it's kind of used. We've been on this for a while. It's just weapons. It's just weapons. Do you have people who you need to have big, some of it's body type, but you just need guys who can get space and create matchup problems for the defense. And however you employ that or deploy that, rather, it's entirely up to you.
Absolutely. And, I mean, I don't think anybody have a problem saying that Amon-Ra St. Brown is a number one receiver.
For sure.
And he's a slot receiver.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Weapons. You're exactly right. Just who can create a mismatch, who can help us dominate. Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown. He was a slot receiver. Was he not the number one receiver in the league? Yes, he was. Not only on his team, in the league.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
Weapons,
anymore.
weapons.
Weapons, things that the defense is fearful of and has to game plan for. Ross asked Greg if he has a clear number one receiver in this class. I'm interested to hear this answer because we asked him about this at the Combine. Let's see if it's the same now.
Was there a guy in this year's draft class, Greg, that really jumped out to you and was a clear number one, or was there just a guy that, hey, there's a group of these guys, but I kind of like this guy the most?
More the second. And I think these guys fit into that category of how they'll be deployed in the league. And I think, you look at someone like Mekhi Lemon, And I think he's a perfect example of what we're talking about. I liked Lemon's tape. There's nothing to really dislike about him. He's not ideally as big as you like. He's not purely explosive. He played predominantly in the slot at USC. Obviously had high-level production. I think depending on where he goes and how he's deployed, he could easily be a high-volume target. But you don't look at Lemon right off the bat and say, wow, you can line this guy up on the outside and he's going to dominate. He's not likely to be a boundary X receiver. But as we said, in this league, because of his quickness, I don't think he's quite Smith and Jig, but he's not quite at that level. When I finished watching Lemon, the two players that came to mind, and I'm sure fans will think these are two totally distinct players, but in some ways they're not. I thought he was kind of in between an Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Khalil Shakir. I thought he sort of fit between those guys. And then it comes down to how you're deployed within the context of an offense.
Yeah, there you go.
100%. And, Lemon, it's interesting. He didn't talk about anybody else, but I don't think Lemon was certainly – he said Tate was his favorite receiver at the Combine.
He did. I don't know.
He didn't say that Lemon was
he
just kind of got sidetracked right there and said to take a look at a guy like Lemon.
I don't know if he wanted to label him as his top 5, but Ross is like, who's your number 2? Who's your number 3? And you'll
So
see
is he saying Lemon is his number 1?
It's the first one he talked about.
It's
I don't know.
the first one he talked about, but I don't know if he's trying to put a label or a number. He doesn't do those.
No, he's not in on that.
He's going to give you a breakdown. He's from a ranking standpoint. He's told us this at the Combine.
Yeah,
like it's up to the teams to put a number on it.
Here, speaking of Mr. Tate, here is Mr. Kosell on Carnell Tate.
You look at Carnell Tate, who is a really interesting player because he was very much of a vertical receiver at Ohio State this past season. But I'm not sure he can be that in the league, and not just because he ran a 4.5, 4.40 at the Combine. When I watched his tape, and I like Carnell Tate, he's big, he's physical, I think he can work the middle of the field. But I don't see him as I think about his projection and transition, because that's, of course, what we're doing here, Ross. We're talking about guys playing in the NFL. I don't think in the NFL he's necessarily a vertical dimension. Now, having said that, because of his size and length, I think he will be able to do that at times. But I don't think you're drafting him to say, hey, he's my vertical guy. But I like Tate. I mean, I guess if I had to pick one guy as my number 1, I'd probably say that Tate would be that guy. I think he's just going to be a really solid NFL receiver.
Okay, so that's
yep.
There you go. That's what he told us at the Combine, and that's where he is there. As for Jordan Tyson, another guy that checks a lot of boxes, just worrying about that medical a little bit. Here's Kosell on Jordan Tyson.
Tyson, again, this is not what I do, but teams have to think about this. Tyson's been injured a lot, but you're dealing with a guy that does have very good traits. He's got short area quickness. He's got burst. I wouldn't say he's a build acceleration, win over the top guy, but where he was effective, and he's sort of calculatingly efficient. He can win off the ball versus press, which a lot of college receivers can't. He creates space and separation. He understands how to attack the leverage of corners with his vertical stem. He knows how to break down corners techniques. I think that he's a guy that knows how to play receiver. Again, another guy that I wouldn't say, gee, he's a boundary X, just put him out there. So to me, he's another guy that is kind of a movement Z. When I say movement Z, the Z lines up normally to the wide side of the field and off the ball, and therefore you can use him as a motion player because he's off the ball. So to me, he's a movement Z and a slot receiver. I think that the one thing that didn't show up a lot on tape is there's not a big run after catch element to his game.
Yeah, and I think so for your purposes out there, if you're talking Tate and potentially Tyson, that would be feels like maybe early. I mean, Tyson, I guess, could be 24. Tate would be 6.
I think if Tyson's medicals come back, I think there are some teams that will have Tyson as the number 1 guy on the board.
Yeah,
at that
for
position.
Sure,
I think that they could both go in the top, 10, 15.
Yeah, certainly.
And somebody could think that, if you're a dome team, if you're a team whose offense lives with your quarterback, for example, lives over the middle of the field, then you might think Lemon is that guy because one of the reasons it's not just that Amon-Ra St. Brown is elite. He is. It's that is an offense, and you have a quarterback who is, for his entire career, has been most comfortable working the middle of the field. And so that's why you see he has such great success finding Amon-Ra there. They've got the vertical element now in Jamison Williams, who creates that space. They've got Laporta. They've got Gibbs. So there's a lot of room to work in the middle of the field, and then that's where he feels the most comfortable.
Yeah. As for sleepers, here's Mr. Kosell on that.
There's a receiver whose tape I really, really like. And it's funny, I texted with a good friend of mine after I watched this guy, and I texted him and said, why is this guy not as good as Jordan Tyson? And that receiver is Ted Hurst from Georgia State. I really like this kid on tape. Now, obviously, played at Georgia State. It's not a Power 4 school. They were terrible this season. I think he's one of the most intriguing wide receiver prospects in this class. Size, speed, stride length, that's his profile. Obviously, there'll be questions about the level of competition, but you're talking about a long, dynamic receiver. He was a weapon at all three levels of the defense. Look, what I always say about players like this, if he showed the same traits profile with this kind of production in a Power 4 conference, Ross, we'd be talking about him as a first-round pick without question.
So that is a name that is coming up a lot, and I expect to have like buzz as we're 2 weeks out now, more and more buzz. I don't know that he goes in the first round or anything like that, but he is somebody that I think people like Kosell and I've seen others have identified, okay, this is somebody who really has what we're looking for. Now you'd say, how in the world of scouting and how in the world of all of this does he stay at Georgia State? How is he not NIL'd somewhere else?
Yep.
And I think that's a valid question. Now some people develop at different rates and different times in their career, so perhaps, that was the case with him, but he is somebody that he is a popular name in the media as a big sleeper type of receiver.
So I'm curious it's Ted Hurst, right? Mm-hmm. That's his name. So 6'3" out of Savannah. Okay. So, he was at Valdosta State, which is a D2 football powerhouse. So he's at Valdosta State for a couple of years and then ends up at Georgia State. He committed to Valdosta State, first team all-region his senior year. Also played basketball in high school. Really good at Valdosta State, and then he transferred to Georgia State. Yeah, it is interesting that somebody didn't scoop him up coming out of after that first year at Georgia State because he was there for 2 years.
Yep. So Hurst in 2 years at Georgia
6'4",
State.
206.
127 catches, 1965, and 15 touchdowns. First player in school history to make Bruce Feldman's Freaks list. Explosive on a vertical plane, sustains his speed to keep coverage from making up ground. 34 catches of more than 20 yards over the past 2 seasons are number one in the FBS. Impressive sink and balance for a high-cut route runner. Dane's takeaway is Hurst faces a steep learning curve versus NFL press and coverage traffic, but his physical traits and ball tracking skills, especially as a downfield target, are exciting. Developmental XZ receiver with down-the-road starting upside. So he was a no-star recruit, wasn't ranked by the 247 Sports Composite in the 2022 class. If you said that already, I apologize.
No, I didn't. I couldn't find one, so that explains it. Yeah,
just going through kind of from Dane Singh. What Dane Singh's cool online for the top guys. He does not have it for Hurst, but the top guys, he's got like video breakdowns as well.
He's not messing around.
No. Strengths: tall, long frame, lean muscle definition, room to add more bulk, has the speed to stride out and create vertical push, taps into another gear once he gains a step on coverage or pursuit. Again, 6'3", ran a 4.42 40. Tracks the ball well, high point skills to expand catch rates, play above the rim, naturally left-handed. 70.9% of his catches resulted in either a first down or a touchdown. Still young, developed a pro mindset as an upperclassman. Weakness: quick in release movements, but needs more polish to escape press. Mediocre play strength, makes impressive grabs, but hands can let him down at times. More drops than touchdowns in 2025. Wasn't asked to run the most expansive route tree. 13.7% of his routes were slants, number one in the FBS in 2025. Route timing and pacing still works. Capable in screen game, but won't have the same success rate in NFL, making NFL athletes miss. Doesn't offer much on special teams. But last year, 71 catches, 1,040 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7 drops. The year before that, 56 catches, 961, 17.1 a catch, 9 touchdowns, 6 drops.
And folks, that's what you get with the Beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just type in a name and you get. I mean, that's incredible.
So you said obviously Valdosta State won the part of the. In 2018, they won the Division II national championship. Yeah.
There you go. All right, one more, and this would be probably in the 24 range.
Oh, that's his brother. I'm sorry, I misread that. His brother, close relationship with his brother, Daryl Myers Jr., who is a 6'7" receiver at Valdosta State, where he won the championship in 2018, went undrafted, played for the Albany Empire Orlando Predators in the AFL. His younger brother's an up-and-coming receiver at Colquitt County High School. So, yeah, it's a very athletic family.
Colquitt County Packers. They have a black pig as the mascot.
That's pretty great.
Which is pretty great, yeah. All right, here is Kosell on Washington wide receiver, and he's in that frame that we're just talking about here, talking about 6'4", 210.
Kosell mentioned him basically as his number 3.
Boston? All right, here's Kosell on Denzel Boston.
Denzel Boston was a receiver that I liked on tape. I mean, he's a big receiver. And so, right away you're getting, it's interesting. We all do this. It's just natural. It's human nature. So right away people think, well, is it Drake London? Is he Ted McMillan? I thought he was closer to Ted McMillan because, Drake London has proven to be, there's a perfect example. He's a high volume receiver for the Atlanta Falcons who lines up primarily inside and works between the numbers. Ted McMillan is a boundary X, and he had a phenomenal rookie season, so he plays outside. I think Boston is closer to that. He's not explosive, but he's big framed. He's alignment versatile. I think that you're dealing with a guy that is very smooth. He has really good hands. He has outstanding hands, actually, to snatch the ball and make tough contested catches. He's big and long. To me, he's closer to McMillan, the kind of player that could line up as your boundary X, than he is to London, who's primarily an inside slot guy.
I like Denzel Boston. I like the size. He's always going to be able to make a play. To me, if you don't take a receiver early and you either go tackle or you go the best player available, you get somebody that you think is going to be a real dude. At 24, I'd be very happy with Boston. Very happy. I don't know that he has the athletic profile that, some of the guys earlier would have. He's not made quite as fast. Oh, no, Adam Scott. Oh, no.
Going.
Oh, no.
Gone.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Goner.
Oh, hit the front of the green on 15.
Oh,
and watch it spin back into the water. Yeah, probably. By about a foot. Sad. That's Augusta, though. It's the beauty of it.
That's what it'll do for you. All right, coming up next, get your Masters update. We got the mailbag as well. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. Add more fun to your fan of the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today. 50 back as bonus bets. You place your first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. It is a mailbag day on the program. Get your questions into us at Browns_Daily, the YouTube chat. We can take those live. Or now you can email your questions, brownsradio@clevelandbrowns.com. Before we get to all of that,
You could be our first emailer.
How about it?
Exciting. I should give you a Masters leaderboard. Sammy Burns and Rory McIlroy in the clubhouse at 5 under. A host of golfers, including Columbus's own Jason Day. I like saying that. Columbus's own, as if he was born and reared there. Patrick Reed, 3. Scheffler, 3. Rose, 3. Woodland, 3. Among those there. And then there's a bunch of guys at 2. In terms of our own battle here on the CBD front, I have dropped to -1. I started when we got started on the show at -5, but now Oberg is +1, so we could have seen that coming. I suppose maybe we should have. So I am at just -1 at this point. G-Man is currently leading at 4 under.
Oh, then we're tied for the lead.
Are you at 4 now?
I'm 4 as well.
You're 4 as well. I am 1. Gibbe.
It's so
Gibbe.
On
+13.
paper, I was a paper champ.
Rahm, DeChambeau cooked you.
Cooked them.
They
Well,
cooked
the
you, Gibbe.
amateur going 5 over currently isn't helping.
I
could
you
do
didn't
that
have to
if
pick
you
an
wanted me
amateur,
to.
though.
You have to
Just
pick
a
a first-timer. Yeah.
I got
Who's on your squad? So Rahm and DeChambeau, what did they both finish at?
Well, Rahm's still on the course missing birdies.
Ooh. Yeah, you're cooked, Gibbe. I don't think you're making that up.
Hot day. You could really get back in there. I got Scheffler 3 under through 9. Reed's 3 under in the clubhouse. Matsuyama's even and done. And Bridgman is even, just birdied 13 to get to even. Colin Morikawa done at 2 over. So he was
He was your lone.
Like, I have Tommy
Disappointing.
Fleetwood. He's 1 under.
That's lovely.
your best guy. Yeah.
Cam
Rahm
Young's
and
at
DeChambeau.
+1.
Cam Young's struggling too, huh?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, I liked your team.
yeah.
I did
me
like
too.
your team. It was a love.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know at that place.
Day
Is
one
that
though,
Koepka?
it'll be very sad though if Gibbe's team, like, none of them make the cut. That'd
If
be
he's out. Yeah.
I mean, that would be a first.
like
But
nobody
I
makes the
think
cut.
it's totally in
Five
play
players,
right
none of them
now.
make the cut. Oh man, there you go. It looks beautiful there. It looks absolutely beautiful.
It sure does.
Not a single blade of grass that's out
No.
of place. It does not appear. And
It is
never
just
there.
gorgeous.
Yep,
And
should be good
gonna
weather
be like
for
that
it.
for the entire weekend.
How's our weather this weekend? Are we going to be able to? Because usually when you see this, then you want to
Cold,
get out there and play.
Cold but sunny Saturday, warm Sunday. I think we might get a teeny bit of rain tomorrow, maybe, perhaps, but hopefully not.
All right, so I'm sure. Yes, a little bit of a chance for rain tonight, and then a little bit of rain tomorrow. Right?
But it's only it's 55% chance, and it's
Touch
less than
of
a tenth
rain.
of an inch.
Yeah, it's very little, and then 55 for high on Saturday. That's not, and then 76 high Sunday.
Yeah,
so
Sunday's
that's where
real
you're
nice.
living, and then you're back to a little bit of rain potentially for Monday by the time you get into it. So there we go. All right, time to open up that mailbag. Get your questions in at Browns_Daily. You can hit us up in the YouTube chat or the email as well. Hello, Gibbe.
Hi.
Let's do it.
Hi.
My buddy
Yep.
is at Zinburger.
Okay.
Whoa, in Tucson?
That's right.
Tell him to get
He's
the
like,
banana
"If this
cream
banana
pie.
cream pie isn't the best. I'm going to have some words with Zagura.
He's at Zinburger in Tucson.
Well, I'm not worried about that. Does he have he needs to try Amelia's tacos. Vivaci's very nice, and if he's there for romantic stuff, go to the Flying V at Lowe's Ventana Canyon for dinner one night.
Oh, baby.
He's got 3 boys. He's got a left tackle, a right tackle, and a center. He's not going anywhere fancy.
Amelia's. They have a, how do you say it? Birria? Like a birria taco?
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Oh, yeah. That's that. Is that a beef?
Yeah, that's like the shredded beef.
Yes.
They have a birria ramen.
Oh, jeez.
That is one. I wept and then I stood and applauded when I finished it.
This place looks. I mean, the Zinburger, the banana cream's always on there. It's only $8.50. There's got like 5 locations, all in Arizona.
I mean,
I sent him to Barrio Tacos.
Barrio Queen, yeah, there you go.
Or Barrio Queen, sorry.
there's a Barrio Queen in Tucson.
Yeah, there are multiple locations.
What?
Did you
Are you kidding me?
Did you really
Hold on. I'm looking right now to double check.
Yeah, first Tucson area
They're
location.
kind of all over the map.
Oro Valley's 2 Oracle Center. Barrio Queen.
Oro Valley.
You blew it, boy.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't blow it. I feel very good. Amelia's, we found Amelia's, which was incredible. And then there's the one that's been there for over 100 years, but you have to go to the original. Oh, man. He's going to love that banana cream pie. I'm not even, that's like the least of my.
If he likes banana cream pie, then
He's
got
gonna
nothing
love
to worry
it.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't make poor decisions like that. He enjoys
El
piece
Charro.
of food or 4 or 5.
El Charro is very famous, but what he really wants Amelia's, and Amelia's is good. There's also another taco place where the lady who was on Top Chef tab, but he's Amelia's Mexican Kitchen on Oracle Road. That is the #1 place. That's it. It was. I gotta tell you, I was blown away. I wish I could have eaten there many, 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 many times. That's how much I liked it.
No Barrio Queens in Tucson. The
Okay.
closest one, there's several there's one in, the closest one would probably be in either Queen Creek or Gilbert, Arizona.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
close.
which is not close.
No. Okay, good. I was getting.
Yeah.
Got a little nervous, though.
There's about 8 of them in the Phoenix area.
Yeah, it's quite delightful. But that's the place, Amelia's. Amelia's, very good. El Charro's famous, but you got to go to the original one. It's been around for over 100 years. Boca is Chef Maria Mazzone, who was on Top Chef, and she's known for her original salsas, gourmet tacos and original salsas made fresh every day in the heart of Tucson. That place we didn't end up going there, but it's supposed to be very good.
How about this from the sports world? The certainly stadiums are a constant conversation. The Kansas City Royals in Kansas City preparing to unveil a $600 million funding plan for a downtown stadium. So for all those years, Arrowhead and Kauffman out there
In the middle
of nowhere, and now they're gonna the Chiefs are obviously going to where like the Speedway is, which is actually in Kansas. But you wouldn't know. I was just there. I drove right by it. Like
We drive by it when you land.
When you're it's 5 minutes. You get off to go that way, and it's 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you're in Missouri. But
That's
it's
right.
still Kansas City, so it's strange, but it still feels very much part of the city. And so all those years, like way out there, now the baseball, that'll be great for the Royals, I would think, to be downtown. I think they would, that would win in a big way. So
interesting
potentially could be good.
that's all come together after the Chiefs moved.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't want to be out there in the concrete paradise by themselves.
No.
That
I always
whole
liked
thing's
that
gonna
stadium
go
on
away.
video
That's
games, though,
crazy.
because it had, like, the fountains.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
That was the first stadium that kind of had something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like the fountains. And then Camden Yards and all those
Sure,
things
yeah,
where it became like that. But, yeah, very cool.
On the YouTube chat, Stony Juan, what do you actually think you would shoot if you had the chance to play Augusta National?
We said that today. What I'd be
funny.
happy with is if I could break 90.
I think
and
we
I don't know
had
if I
that,
could.
We
but
had
I'd
that
love
off
it.
air. I
Yep.
asked you that off air. Like, what would
Yep.
you be happy shooting there? I wouldn't almost view it as bad as I am. I wouldn't almost view it as from a scoring perspective. I would just be happy if I could play like one ball all the way around. Would make me happy. Or two, like 1 or 2 balls, because water would come into play. Certainly, in some places, so that it'd be nice to not have to dig into the bag for a bunch of balls. And for the most part, you probably wouldn't there because they don't. I mean, they don't have rough.
No, and you certainly could lose balls in the water on some of these holes. But I think for the most part, what you're really looking at, I think you would want to par a couple. Like, can I par a couple holes? So you have a couple you may. Oh yeah, I parred.
Yeah, I parred one. Yeah, and anything on Amen Corner that was a par would be a huge win. It would be so cool.
Yeah. Listen, you can hit the ball. 16's 164 yards. You can hit the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
could get
and
it there.
12
You
is,
just-
130, 140.
I wonder what the
depending on
members' measurements are. The great Previs gave us the score.
Yeah, we have that scorecard.
That scorecard from there. But I don't remember looking at like what the member
What the
tees
actual
are.
members?
Yeah, what the members have to play.
I don't know,
because they're not playing from back. They're not living in that world.
No,
not at all.
Let's
I had
see.
Paul Feinbaum on today, and I asked him if he'd ever covered the Masters, and he said, yeah, for 20 years he covered the Masters. And he told this great story about, and he'd never told it before, told me that afterwards, this great story about how one of the years he was covering it, And it was in the early going of him covering it. And once you're credentialed, and I don't know this, I've never been there, but once you're credentialed, you kind of have the run of the place. Like you can walk into where they have like the champions dinner. You can go where they do like the presentation. What's the Butler Cabin? Like you can walk through there, everything. And he said he walked into a restaurant because they told you could do it, and he ordered a hamburger, and there was nobody in there. And he said, I was sitting there for a while, and I looked around, and all of a sudden it was really famous people who kept walking in, people I recognized, i.e. professional golfers. And then he realized that he was in the players' club, the players' locker room,
oh my God,
the players' dining area. And he was dressed kind of like golf, he said. He had a hat on and stuff, and so he was kind of dressed like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know maybe. And so when it came time to pay bill, he was very nervous, and he signed the bill Arnold Palmer. So he said somewhere Arnold Palmer paid, thank you, posthumously for the $9 hamburger at Augusta National.
That's incredible.
Which I thought was a great story.
I think it's hilarious. They charge them more in the players' locker room. They charge them $9, and the most expensive food item outside for the patrons is
$3, yeah.
So here, I got the card. The Masters tees are 7,445 yards.
Okay.
The members tees are 6,365 yards. Some of the biggest differences, number 1 is 365 versus 455. Number 4 goes from being a 240-yard par 3 to 170. Number 8 goes from being a 570 par 5 to 480, very reachable. Number 9 goes from 460 to 395. 11, instead of being 505 yards, is 400. 12 is 145 still. 13, instead of being 510, is 455. 15, instead of being 530, is 475. So fun risk-reward par 5s for an amateur.
Yeah.
And then 18 is probably the other real big difference there. 18 goes from being 465 out of that chute to 385.
So you're not even in that chute.
No.
You're
you
probably
would be,
down.
Yeah, you'd be well past that chute.
Well past, yeah.
Scheffler can't make any birdies. He's been stuck at 3 under since the third hole.
Sorry, he's only 2 back.
He had a 3-putt par on 8.
Yeah.
No, but I bet I'll pick up some on 13, 14, or 15.
Isn't it something? Freddie Couples is 2 under.
I love Freddie Couples.
G-Man, I should have just taken him on the team because he's
just for
automatic every year.
He's gonna make the cut. He's gonna get a card of 70.
He would be the best golfer on my team right now.
Yeah. Somebody just hit a crazy bunker shot. Looks like Brooks to me.
Yeah. Freddie's swing is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So buttery smooth.
Just so
I didn't
smooth.
realize, he's won the Grand Slam.
No, he's only won the Masters.
No. There's only been 6 people who have ever won the Grand Slam.
Fred Couples has only won the Masters. That's it. He was number 1 in the world, but he's only won 1 major.
It's Jack. It's Tiger.
Well, hold on a minute.
You're not right.
You're not, Gibby.
No. It's Jack, it's Tiger, it's Rory.
Oh, you're right.
And
My
then
bad.
it's old people. It's like
Davis Love only won
print that says second, tied for third.
Yeah. Davis Love has only won 1 major, and Freddie only won 1, and they were number 1 in the world for a time with Faldo and all that in the early to mid 90s, and they just couldn't.
Davis Love never seemed like a ball of laughed.
He's a pretty good dude. I've had
Is
to,
he?
I told you I've had to hit with both of them because
I liked him a lot.
Davis
he just
Love
seemed
built
like a fun guy.
Kinderloo Forest, which was outside of Valdosta, Georgia, and I was there covering the grand opening of that, so I did golf balls in front of him. Then I had to play a couple of holes with Freddie because he built Southwood, which is a course in Tallahassee that he built. He had the Boom Boom tees were his big signature on his course designs. I don't know how many he designed, but that one was kind of a fun
That's
little
cool.
track. Yeah.
More questions here from Cleveland Browns Manchester Fan Club.
Okay.
All right.
G-Man's favorite soccer team, football team.
These are the guys who hooked us up with the Man City kits,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
Did
Great
Nathan
humans.
Zagura catch Mind Enterprises recently on their U.S. tour? If not, why not?
That's a sore subject.
Woo! Let's open the wound.
That's sad.
No. My roommate, Al B., though, I got him hooked up. He went and saw them in Atlanta. I had tickets. I was one of the early purchasers of tickets, had tickets to see them in Chicago.
Early purchasers?
Yeah, like right when it sold out in a heartbeat in Chicago, by the way. They sold out their whole American tour. And I was supposed to go with myself, Miss Kay, on her birthday.
Yep.
Happy birthday. I mean, what better way to hang with
on.
Roberto? And
I like on Miss Kay's birthday, you took her to my
Happy birthday.
well, I was going to.
tried to.
Baby doll Classman was going to be there, as well as Bebo, and so it was going to be a real treat for everybody. And unfortunately, That was when the memorial for the great Lizbeth was scheduled in Tucson, Arizona, on exactly the 27th. So
day.
there was really a 1 in 365 chance that would conflict with Roberto, and we hit it.
And you nailed it. Yep.
So don't if you ever think something like, oh man, the odds of this happening for me are not, great. Remember that and know that you can pull it off at less than 1/3% as well.
Just Danny, if you could choose any player, past or present, that isn't a quarterback to add to the current Browns team, who would it be?
I can add a what?
Any player, past or present, that is not a quarterback.
Randy Moss.
On the Browns? Like a Browns player only?
Like any player or Browns
If
player?
you could choose any player,
Randy Moss.
past or present, that isn't a quarterback to add to this current Browns team.
Randy Moss. Be the time of our lives.
Randy.
Randy down there somewhere.
Zagura.
You're not beating Randy.
Oh, he's thinking
trying.
Jerry. He's thinking Jerry.
He'd want Randy. You'd love
I
Randy.
love Randy Moss.
Come on.
Randy
the fun
Moss
of that,
would be great.
Throwing it
Yeah.
up just like this on the go route, just here.
He would be great. I also like the idea. I was always a big Calvin Johnson guy.
You're lying to yourself though. You would want Randy.
The other name that I thought of, honestly, was Deion Sanders.
Well, you play if he would.
What about
if he could punt it?
What about
punt return?
playmaker?
Well, for our purposes, playmaker. Like because he would come in here on the reg.
Yeah.
Then yes, playmaker. And Randy was a little surly when he played. He's not now.
Yeah,
but he was when he played.
Yeah, I bet he was not as fun. Would not have been as fun like to us as we would want him
not.
to be.
Yeah, probably not. But man, he would have been fun to watch.
Yeah.
This is from Chris. Piggybacking the Adam Mendoza debacle, there was a bartender at my favorite brewery named Bree. She worked there for years. Always nice to talk to Bree. Her last day, she says, "By the way, Chris, it's Alyssa. Whose name have you totally screwed up? Gibby is exempt."
Who I always screw up? I do it all the time on the show. Bryce Young, Bryce Love, Jordan Love. I just did it.
Yeah.
I just did it.
Well, Bryce Love was a running back. I want to
He's
say
a running back
from
from Stanford.
Yeah.
Drafted by
Bryce
Washington.
Young and Jordan Love look similar-ish. Both play quarterback-ish. Size-wise, very different. But every time I see Jordan Love, I want to say Bryce. I screw it up all the time. All the time. Just did.
You did. You did.
Can't get it right.
Mine's Adam Mendoza. And then I called him Francisco.
It's all about the four horsemen. Bobby.
Baby. Hey, Bobby!
If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest, and why do you just know it would be have the beef with you personally? Jeez.
Peacock. They suck. They're awful beasts.
Monica's stepdaughter has 5 of them.
Good Lord.
That's right.
They
live in Avon. They live in Avon.
They don't have a great disposition. I'll tell you that.
I think a cat would be a real jerk.
Yeah, they suck.
I hate cats.
Can't
Same.
stand them. Can't stand them.
If your life was secretly being narrated, what's the one moment the narrator would absolutely roast you for? I don't know
Nothing
if we
I can
talk
tell on
about-
air. Nothing I would want to put out in the ether.
I mean, I don't think you can roast somebody for something that happened to them as a child, as a youth, especially under the yoke of Pedro. But when I was caught in a dilemma of being told I couldn't come into the house without my baseball glove, and it was stuck under the tree, and other things were happening, that was a very
That's
tough
a tough
moment
spot
for me.
That's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Incredible yoke.
Real one sidebar. Cleveland fan in Chicago, otherwise known as the G-Man's new burner account. Don't forget about Van Wilder for NBC.
That's a good one,
Weird.
too.
We're
Van
not
Wilder's a
ready.
great film.
He's not ready for that yet.
No.
Nope. Back to Bobby. What's something you used to hate but now love?
Pesto.
Used to hate, but now love.
As a
I
kid,
suppose when I was a kid, I didn't like onions, and I now would eat them on anything.
Billy Raftery likes onions.
He does love them.
Onions.
Scheffler,
That,
wide
by the
to
way,
right.
that was one of the craziest stories of the weekend. This Bill Raftery mentioning that he's actually not 82, but is significantly older. Just kind of like, oh, by the way, yeah, they said I was 82. I'm actually older than that.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't bother to check anybody. Okay. Jeez.
I love Raftery.
Danny Amendola, let's go.
What's your go-to comfort activity when you've had a long day? Well, the G-Man says drinking.
I don't mind
a glass of wine.
I don't mind that little pop to chill out after a long day. I like a soak in the hot tub if it's cold out. If it's
soak season's like one of the great seasons.
If you get yourself a little snow on the ground and the air is brisk, I enjoy that.
I also certainly love to spend time with my family and loved ones.
It's very relaxing.
1 minute.
It's very.
Let's see.
I love to doom scroll on my phone and be like, what in the world?
What had happened?
What has happened
What
to
has
us?
happened?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I guess we'll get to more of these tomorrow. My buddy was asking if we should. He's like, should I switch it up? We are going to Barrio Queen for dinner. I don't know where he's at.
He's probably in the
He's
Phoenix
at the
area.
Zinburger, and now he's.
Well, there's Zinburgers. There's some of those around too. So he might be more like Phoenix area.
Maybe he's not in Tucson.
Maybe he's.
I don't.
'cause
He
there's
might be
several in
going
Phoenix area.
to.
30.
I don't.
We'll get to the bottom.
My
of it.
buddy just ordered the banana cream.
Yeah, I think he's gonna like that.
The burgers were great.
Yeah.
They got the Chick Norris. The one kid did.
There you go. Very good. Good job out of them. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly.